Hi everyone! Welcome to Red Fox Sewing and Crafting, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Joanna. So today we are working on the second half of this album. We're doing pages 6 to 10. For that, you will need piece that is 9 by 9, piece that is 1 by 8, a piece that is 4 by 7, a 4.5 by 7, a 5.5 by 7, a 5 by 7, a 3.5 by 9, here we go. Should be 6 in here. Yes. 6 3.5 by 5s. A 3.5 by 8. 6 by 9. A slightly less than 4.5 by 8, a 2.5 by 9, and a 3.5 by 5.5. So those are all the pieces that you'll need for pages 6 to 10. And we're going to score everything at the start so we can just go through it really quick. And like always, the cut guide and the scoring will be down below in the description. So we're going to start at the top with a 9 by 9. On one side of the 9 by 9, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 8.5. Then we're going to turn this around so that they're going the other direction. And then we're going to score this at 4.5. On our 1 by 8, you want the 1 inch at the top, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. With your 4 by 7, your 4.5 by 7, your 5, and your 5.5 by 7, you want to score all 4 of these same way. Starting with the 7 inches at the top, we're going to score at 1/2, turn, 1/2, turn, 1/2. Okay, going to do that to all 4 pieces. On your 3.5 by 9, you want the 9 inches at the top. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 8.5. The 6 3.5 by 5s, on all 6 of these, you want the 5 inches at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Four, 5, and 6. The 3.5 by 8, you want the 3.5 inches at the top and score it 1/2 inch. The 6 by 9, you want the 9 inches at the top. Gonna score this one at 4.5. The slightly less than 4.5 by 8, you want the 4.5 inches at the top, and we're going to score this at 1/2 inch. The 2.5 by 9, going to start with the 9 inches at the top. Going to score it half, turn, half, turn, and half. And then our 3.5 by 5.5, we're just leaving this one alone. So now it is time to put our album together. So we're going to start with page 6, and with the 1 by 8, you just want to fold it in half, burnish it really good, and then you want to take your scissors, and starting from the folded side, you want to trim the corners. You want to miter the corners. That's the word. You want to miter them. And I have my little scrap-looking seeds jar here. As always, this is optional. I am going to put some double-sided adhesive on both tabs. If you don't like using double-sided adhesive, you don't have to use it. Use whatever glue or adhesive you like to use. For the 9 by 9, you're going to need either a pair of scissors, a crafting knife, your paper trimmer, whatever you're comfortable with. And you have 4 tabs here, 2 on each side, divide kind of have by this center fold here. You want to take out both sides of or both tabs from one side of the fold, and you want to make sure to cut out the score mark while you do that. And then we're just going to miter the corner. So this is what your piece should look like right now. And then we're just going to miter these top two corners really quick. So then after all your cutting, it'll look like this. And again, I'm going to put some double-sided adhesive on my two tabs. So then we can go back and fold and burnish all of our score marks. And with the center one, I'm just going to use my mat, the edge of my mat here, or edge of my scoreboard, to get it as even as possible. Then we can open this up. Grab our glue, maybe open it. And then glue our tabs down to make a little pocket. Just like that. And then you want your 1x8. And we're going to attach this to the folded side of our pocket. And you want a center fold matched up with the center fold. So that you will have a hinge on your pocket. And then the opening is on the opposite side. And once that is attached, we can grab our album, turn to page 6, and this is going to go on the outside edge of our page. Right like this. And then to close it, I'm going to use some magnets. So I'm going to grab mine really quick. Here we go. Everything is sticking to my magnets. I'm going to grab 2 pieces of double-sided adhesive. So my large double-sided adhesive, or wide. Sometimes words don't work with me. Then, if my magnets want to cooperate, I'm going to put one on the back side of my pocket. So, yeah. So one's right here. And then my second one is going to go on the base page. So I'm just checking to see which way my second magnet goes. Then I have my double-sided adhesive sticky side up to stick it to my magnet so that when I close my pocket, it'll stick right to the base page. Just like that. If you wanted, you could put a magnet at the top instead, but I'm fine with this. Page 7. This one's going to be a little different. So we have our 4 pockets here. And we are going to fold and burnish on all of the score marks. And then we want to miter the squares out of the bottom and miter the tops. So I'll show you what that looks like really quick. So the top 2 corners are going to get mitered just like this. And then the bottom 2 corner squares, you're just going to cut out on a slight angle like that. And we're going to do that to all 4 of our pieces. Your 4x7, your 4.5x7, your 5x7, and your 5.5x7. Once you have done all that to your pockets, you need a pencil, and we are going to stack these to make sure that they are going the right direction. Starting with the 4x7, we're going to fold the tabs in to make it easier to mark everything. On the left side at the top left of our pocket, we're going to mark 1.5 from the edge. And then from the bottom right, we're going to mark up 1.5. Our 4.5x7, top right, we're going to mark in 1.5. Bottom left, we are going to mark up 1.5. Our 5x7, top left, we're going to mark in 1.5. Bottom right, mark up 1.5. And then our 5.5x7, top right, we're going to mark in 1.5. Bottom left, we're going to mark up 1.5. Then we can grab our paper trimmers, and you are going to cut from mark to mark. Just like that. Then take take a little bit off of the short side. We're going to cut corners off from all 4 of our pockets. And then you can just go back afterwards and erase your marks. I have my pockets here. They are all cut. The marks are erased. And I put them in order to make it a little easier for myself to put them on my page 7 down correctly. So for me, it's going to be back to front. I'm just going to flip my my pile over so that I have the largest one at the top. I'm going to flip my album around and we can attach these to our page. What we're going to do is add glue to the bottom tab and attach it to our page 7. Just like that. And then I have some archival tape. I'm going to use that to cover my pocket, bottom tabs of my pockets. If you want, you can just use normal Scotch tape, but I just have this on hand. And then we're going to put our sides down. And there is pocket 1. And then we're just going to keep going. So here is what it looks like. So you're all done. You got your 4 angled pockets right here, and they do kind of angle out it a little bit differently, but that's because they're all marked the same amount. Page 8. For this page, you want to fold and burnish all 6 of your 3.5 by 5s. But you do not want to miter the corners. You want to leave the corners alone. This page is going to be a double waterfall with a belly band. The belly band, you don't have to, but I am going to miter my corners really quick. And then you will also need some ribbon. So we'll need 2 pieces that are about 12 inches each. I'll stick this back in here with my paper, and really quick, skirt or double-sided adhesive. Technically this is, well, it actually is score tape, but score tape is kind of expensive, so when I do remember, I get just the cheaper stuff, double-sided adhesive. That's basically what this is. It's all double-sided adhesive. I'm going to actually, no, I'm not. I'm not. Page 8, we are going to mark the center of my page. On the top and the bottom for my ribbon. And the ribbon is going to go underneath the belly band. Or you could put it on top. Might be better to put it underneath, because of the waterfall pieces. You might not be able to line them up very well, or the tabs, they might not line up very well. It happens sometimes. So putting the ribbon underneath the belly band will be better, because then if you, whatever method of adhering your ribbon width to your page, it won't go through the openings of, or between the tabs of the waterfall pieces if they're not fully lined up. So then we want to add our belly band. This is going to be the fun part. So we want this centered. As best as possible. And to make it slightly easier, it might be better to put the pattern paper on before we fully glue this down. So I want you to grab your pattern paper piece that you want for underneath your belly band, and then I will show you how to attach your pattern paper and finish up the belly band at the bottom. I have my pattern paper here. This piece is so cute. I love it. And I'm going to glue most of my pattern paper to my base page. Going to leave probably about, I'd say 2 inches unglued. So put this down, make sure to line everything up right where you want it, and then we're going to stick it down. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm going to glue the second tab down. Then want to try to get you might need to use some tweezers for this. Where's my tweezers? I know I had them somewhere. There they are. Maybe better. These are squeezed to close tweezers. So it's not wanting to work. Okay. It's causing issues. So I'm just going to remove the whole thing. Then I'm going to re-glue this. I want to try not to stick your paper down, but if that does happen, that's okay. Just want to get as much glue on your base. Actually, you know what? Thinking about it, I might not be able to do it, but you can have your pattern paper and your the bottom of your tab both up kind of like this, and then put glue on both your pattern paper and your tab, and then kind of just place them down both at the same time like that. That way you can get glue everywhere and not have to deal with getting the backing off of your double-sided adhesive underneath your belly band. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to figure things out, but I eventually get there. Now with our waterfall pieces, you want 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. So I'm going to start with the 2 outer pieces, and we're just going to put them right at the edge of our belly band at the top and bottom. Just like this. We're going to open the 2 waterfall pieces up, and then we can add our next 2. And you want to line up the folded edge of your next waterfall piece to the tab edge of the previous piece so that you get your 1/2 inch spacing. And sometimes you have to kind of finagle your pieces. Then the second one for this level, and I'm just kind of folding these down to make sure that my belly band and my waterfall pieces are all lining up together. And then I have my 4 attached waterfall pieces open so I can attach the last 2 to the inside. And our last piece right here. And then they should all line up, and then they just kind of stagger like that. And tie the ribbon in a bow to keep everything closed. Just like that. Page 9. That is our 3.5 by 8 and our 6 by 9. 6 by 9, we're just going to fold on the score mark. And again, I am using the edge of my scoreboard to get it as straight as I possibly can. And then the 3.5 by 8, we are going to fold and burnish on our score mark and miter the 2 corners. I am adding some score tape to my tab here, and then we can attach this to our page. This is going to go on the hinge side of our page 9. And you want to put it at the edge of the page, not at the edge of the hinge. Otherwise, you won't be able to move your page around, and the page won't work properly. Before we can attach our 6 by 9 booklet, we are going to have to put, or we are going to need pattern paper on the base page. So I will do that really quick, and then we can add our booklet. We have our pattern paper on our base page here, and now we can add our booklet. It's going to go in the center of our page. The height is 6 inches of our booklet. However, our page is 8, so that's an inch on the top and bottom. Our page is 6 inches. Our booklet is 4.5. That is 3/4 of an inch on the sides. So if I can find my ruler, I can line this up with the edge of my page. At the right distance. And then we can attach this to it. And you want to make sure that the opening of your booklet is going towards the flap. You want it like this. It's gonna be the opposite of a book. It's a little weird, but I think it's cool. Okay, grab this. My ruler shifted on me. You want this 1 inch top and bottom and 3/4 of an inch on the sides. And then stick it down really good to get it stuck on the page. And for closure on this, Again, we are going to use a magnet. If you wanted to, you can use a ribbon closure for this. You just need to put one side of your ribbon underneath the flap here and then the other side underneath your booklet. But I'm going to do magnet closure, and I'm going to attach both of my magnets to my booklet. So put the pin in my glue first so it doesn't dry out. It's a bad habit of mine. First one I'm going to put on is going to be on the inside of my booklet, right here, and you can put it on the underside of the booklet, but sometimes I don't think that far ahead. Second magnet is going to go on the top of the booklet, just like that. Page 10. Nice. Page 10, you want to fold and burnish the tab on your 4.5 by 8, and if I can find my scissors, we are going to miter the two corners, just like that. And on our 2.5 by 9 pocket, we are going to fold and burnish all of our score marks, like so. Cut the top corners like that and cut out the bottom two corners. And again, I'm going to put some double-sided adhesive on all of my tabs. To make this page, all we're going to do is start with our pocket. Bottom tab of our pocket is going to go on the hinge side of our page. Just like so. Then I'm going to open it up and add some of my special archival tape to the bottom. As I said, you can just use normal tape if you want. And then the two sides of our pocket can go down now. Maybe. There we go. Sometimes the backing of my double-sided adhesive doesn't want to come up. It wants to stay. And you don't want to glue the inside of your pocket. All needs to stay on the tab. And we're going to just stick down our two sides right on our page. And then our flap is going to go on the opposite side. Just like this. And this little gap is why you need the flap to be slightly smaller than 4.5. You need that small gap there. And then to close it, we have our 3.5 by 5.5 that just slides right in the pocket, just like that. And that is our Lavendar album all finished. I hope you enjoyed making this album with me. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you want to see us make more albums or other things, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!